Spanish is, generally speaking, a quite straightforward language in terms of pronunciation. The ways you see things written are the way they sound. But there are a few letters that we need to pay special attention to. Hola, amigos, bienvenidos aquí Spanish. Soy Alejandro. And in today's lesson, we are continuing with the Unit 1 of our course for beginners. Remember that in this unit, we are aiming for being able to create our own study plan and introduce ourselves to another language student. If you haven't watched the previous lessons, this is the fourth one. Make sure to check the playlist where you will find all the lessons we have already published in order. You will find the link in the description. And as mentioned, today we're going to cover 4 particular sounds in Spanish that you need to be mindful of. The ones are g, h, k, and th. Let's start with an exercise that will require some thinking beforehand on your side. I'm going to show you a word that you can see here on the left. And I want you to say, as John is saying here on the right, the number, just to practice the numbers that we saw in the previous lesson, from 1 to 10, the word and the sound it has. And there are 2 options here. You can either sound like casa with the sound k, or like cero, the sound th. Remember, I'm from Spain, and this is the way I pronounce this sound. In Latin America, they would say S francesa. In most of Spain, we would say th. Okay? And that's the sound we're going to work with. So the first one would be francesa, as Jot says, suena como cero. So I want you to say it out loud. Remember the interactivity of this course. I want you to participate, not just passively watch. Don't be lazy, no seas vago. So say the number, say the word, and give me the proper sound. K o th. So number 2, pause the video if you need to, would be dos, correo como casa. Okay? Don't worry too much about the meaning of these words. Francesa is French, female, correo, male. Now, the next word will be tres, Suiza, suena como cero. 4, nacionalidad, suena como cero. Remember to pause the video if you need to answer, okay? 5, arquitecta, suena como casa. 6, camarero, suena como casa. 7, zumba, suena como cero. 8, venezolano, suena como cero. And the last one is, what's the number? 9, Cuba, suena como casa. Now that we have gone through this exercise where you need to guess or tell me what the pronunciation you think it is and which of the 2 sounds is the proper one for each of the words, you tell me if you can infer the rule of when do these words have the sound k, como casa. When does this happen? Look at the list on the left and tell me if you see a pattern here. Again, pause the video if you need to. Well, there are words followed by, or that start with C, and are followed by either A or U. When this is the case, we have the sound K. So, correo, camarero, Cuba. Ka, ko, ku. C followed by the vowel AU, vowels AU, have the sound K. What other situation does have the sound K? Can you see it? When you have QU followed by EI, okay? QUEI, like queso and arquitecto, will have the sound K. Okay? Remember to never say qui, arquitecto, or queso, right? This que, no. The QU always sounds like a K, K, followed by A, queso, arquitecto. So this is the rule for the first sound, K como casa, C followed by AU, or Q followed by EI. You also have this sound in the letter K in loan words like kilo or bikini. Let's look at the other sound, the como cero. Where is this sound happening? What's the rule like? Well, it's again the C, but this time followed by which vowels? Can you tell? Well, by E, I. Francesa nacionalidad. Francesa nacionalidad. And the other way we have this sound is the letter Z. I'm sure you can see that, followed by AU, Zumba, Venezolano, and Suiza. So here's the rule when it sounds like cero. The with C and the Z, AU. You also have the Z at the end of syllables. Not very common, but sometimes it happens in words like mezquita or feliz, like mosque or happy. In this case, always the same sound. I hope it's clear when do you use this sound k and when do you use the sound th. Okay, if you can see the C, sometimes it will have one or the other sound. That's why you need to be familiar with the rule, right? Remember, AO is k, ka, ko, ku. And if it's e, I, then it sounds like the, in Spain. And let's now go through the same exercise, but with two different sounds. The sound G, como Gales, and the sound G, como Juan. Remember to say the number, the word, out loud, and how does it sound? Suena como. Like uno, Gibraltar, suena como Juan. What about the second one? Dos, cirujana, suena como Juan. Tres, bloguero, suena como Gales. 4. José, suena como Juan. 5. Juez, suena como Juan. 6. Lenguas, suena como Gales. 7. Bilingüe, suena como Gales. 8. Ingeniero, suena como Juan. And the last one, la última, 9. Gonzalo, suena como Gales. Let's go through the same process of trying for yourself to think when does it sound like G, Gales, and then when does it sound like H, Juan. So when the G is followed by which vowels do we have the sound G? Pause if you need to, check the list on the left. 1, it's followed by A, O, and U, like Gonzalo, lenguas, or the word Gales itself. So G followed by AU, G, AU, is the sound G. And also you have the GU, like bloguero en guitarra, when followed by E or I. And bilingüe and pingüino have something different. Can you notice? Can you tell? I'm sure you do. They have these 2 dots on top of the U. This is called la diéresis. And this indicates that we need to pronounce this U. So with bloguero, we do not say bloguero. This U is not pronounced. But with bilingüe, we do pronounce the U. Okay? The same with guitarra and pingüino. Okay? So this is an important distinction. Remember, we have the sound G como Gales when you have this distinction with the diéresis. Moving on, we have the sound G como Juan. Also, it's produced with the letter G, but followed by which vowels? By the vowels E, I, like in Gibraltar or ingeniero. In this case, the G sounds G. Remember, we covered most sounds, all of the sounds of Spanish in the lesson of the alphabet. If you haven't watched that, make sure to check that out. You will find the link on top of this video or in the description. But the sound G comes from your throat, close to maybe hello or hungry, but much stronger, really, and especially in Spain, in the beginning of words. And you also have the sound G como Juan with the J. J followed by A, O, and U, like cirujana, Jose, and juez. And here's a recap of these rules, either G followed by EI or J followed by A o U, J, A o U. La J, see, the J, can also be used before A and E, like Jimenez and Jerez. The J only has one sound. The G can either sound like G or like H. That's it for the theory about the sounds and pronunciation. I know it can be a bit confusing, just thinking of it in terms of what vowel is followed, what not. Really, the best thing is to practice reading out loud and listening with transcripts, and you get the associations with time. But being aware of how things are and what sounds are produced in which scenarios might help you give you a head start when you can now already start reading and saying, okay, then this G is followed by EI, therefore it's H, not G. This C has to be K because it's followed by A instead of E. And it could be helpful to be aware explicitly of these rules. But don't forget that memorizing this is not just the best way of going about it. Just be aware of them and practice reading out loud and listening to podcasts with transcriptions. We're going to finish this lesson with an exercise. I'm going to share with you an audio and some words that are missing a letter. And I want you to listen carefully and fill in the missing letters. Here are the words you are going to hear. As you can see, we are missing some of the letters, and you might not be familiar with what some of the words mean, but hearing and catching the sounds should be enough to complete the activity. So remember that you can pause the video and go back if you need to. Let's now listen to the audio.
Cádiz, Guatemala, juez, cirujano, tequila, Rodríguez, comercial, bilingüe.
Good. Before I show you the answers, I'm going to give you a second try because maybe it was a bit fast. So you're going to hear the audio a second time.
Cádiz, Guatemala, juez, cirujano, tequila, Rodríguez, comercial, bilingüe.
I hope you were able to complete the activity, and here are the answers. Right? We heard Cádiz with the sounds K, th, that we just learned, Guatemala, juez, which means judge, cirujano, with the sounds that we have also worked on today, th and h, is surgeon, tequila, I'm sure you know what that means, and we have also seen the sound K, Rodríguez, comercial, salesperson, and bilingual. I hope you find useful this lesson on pronunciation. Again, Spanish pronunciation is not particularly difficult, especially compared to English, but there are some things you need to be aware of, right? And some sounds that might be more difficult for you. And to help you with that, there is one tool I want to share with you. As part of our Spanish beginner kit that we offer for free for beginners to have a great list of resources to get started, we offer at the end some suggestions of useful tools. And one of them is Forvo. Forvo is an excellent site. You can see here. It's a database of pronunciation. It's a dictionary of pronunciation. So, for example, the word cirujano is a bit difficult. You can search for this word, and you can see that you have Spanish, and you can select either from Spain or Latin America. You can select this word and you have them organized, sorted by bots, because these are recorded by native speakers, but volunteers, not robots, which means, well, it's good because the ones that are good are actually from native speakers, but also means that some people have quite terrible microphones and, for example,
cirujano,
cirujano,
This one is an example of
cirujano,
one that's not very well recorded, but this one
cirujano,
is fantastic, right? So it has a good bow. And you can find pronunciation from native speakers of particular words almost from any word you might need. So it's a very useful tool when you have trouble learning how to pronounce a particular word. If you are interested in this Spanish Beginner Kit, where we offer these tools as well as many other resources for you to get started on the right foot with your Spanish, it's a perfect complement to this course that we are offering here on YouTube. So make sure to click the link in the description that you will find to download that beginner kit, which again is completely for free. And that's it for today's lesson on the pronunciation of these sounds with the h, k, and the, and g. I hope it's now much more clear. And if you don't want to miss out on our future lessons of this course, make sure to subscribe to our channel and click that notification bell. Soy Alejandro de Key Spanish y nos vemos en clase.